Hi, I'm Jim with Stuff Music, and we're here today to look at a brand new pedal from MXR, the Bass Synth. This is a great sounding synthesizer, primarily designed for use with bass. You can also use it with guitar, probably also keyboards too, but today we're just going to be looking at 4-string bass. I'm going through a dark glass X7B and then straight into Pro Tools. I'm using this beautiful bass from Novo to play today. Let's take a look at the beginning. All we're going to do is do an overview. We're going to look at the standard functionality of the control surface, and we're going to hear some sounds. We're going to listen to some presets. There's a lot of deep functionality. Each one of these knobs has a secondary and tertiary function, which you can get by depressing these buttons and then manipulating the knobs. You can also, of course, get further options with an expression pedal, which you can hook up here. But today, let's just give the pedal a quick once-over and hear what it's capable of, hear how it tracks, and hear the tones. So, on the control surface, on-off, you can go through your preset banks here, and then when those lights are not illuminated, you're just in whatever you have happening on the pedal. Input-output, power. Here is your mix, dry versus wets. Your cutoff and envelope and resonance, standard synth function stuff. Modulation control, which you can take it out, bring it in. How much sub-octave you have in. This voice button adds additional harmonic oscillators. And finally, this is how you go between triangle, sawtooth, and square wave, which, if you know your general synth sounds, that's kind of your 3 flavors. So let's start a triangle, go everything at noon. Here's what we got. Get those speakers rocking. So if I take the sub out, we got that. So that's the resonance of the low-pass filter. So it gets some use of you. That sets the cutoff frequency of your filter. Take the mod out. Open up that envelope, close it down. You get a pluckier sound that way. So if you're playing a part that's more nimble, that's where that's going to come into play. We add our voice control in, some more harmonic content. So the way these sounds are going to work, especially in a mix, it depends on the part you play. If I'm playing down low, maybe I'm turning that sub mix down if my part's down here. Bring it up, my part's up here. And the thing I've always noticed about these synthesizer pedals is you kind of got to play them in a particular way. You got to play the pedal. Sometimes if you get some ghost notes or that stuff when you're playing, it kind of creeps into the sound. So you have to play in almost a more intentional way when you play to let these sounds develop. And again, it all depends on what you're playing and how you have the pedal set. Let's move to the Sawtooth, and I'm going to return everything to the noon position. Modulation out. And you can change the tone too. I mean, messing with the wet dry. Keep your articulation happening. Voice control in. All right, so here's some square wave stuff. Modulation out to begin. That almost sounds like a tuned drum from a drum machine. So that could be cool to put that in a mix. With some fingers. Get your submix way up. You can also get that kind of infinite sustain thing happening. What I don't have happening right now, which you get really cool, is if you get delays going with this, man, you could take it to outer space for sure. Thunder sounds. You can get very creative. Let's listen to some presets and see what they have programmed in. Nope, I touched the knob. So that's how you can tell if you mess with the preset. You know, it'll blink. If you want to save it in the bank, you obviously just keep the preset button depressed. That kind of sounds like... Take the submix out of that a little bit. In the vicinity. And I mean, some of the artifacts that come out of these are great, like that's almost one of the cool things. I remember seeing an old interview with David Bowie when he was doing those records with Eno, and he said they got all those early synths and just threw the manuals away because he said they were full of sounds you'd never want to hear, that would like the way they were programmed, and they just kind of turned knobs until they got what they liked. This is that infinite sustain thing I was talking about. But you got to play, so you got a little cutout there because the velocity with your right hand matters. Probably would be helpful to run a compressor pedal before this. I think a lot of times when you just smooth out your bass sounds, that can be it can be very useful. Now this is just kind of your standard kind of bass with an octave pedal on it. Now this is one of those sounds where, again, you have to play the sound. This would just be for long, sustained tones. It's got a, kind of swelling in. I love pedals like this because they're like a little inspiration machine. You just sit there all day, wah, 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 and it's just, you can just constantly create things based on the sounds. Endless possibilities, and we haven't even scratched the surface of any of the deeper functionality. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I just wanted to give you a quick overview, let you hear what the pedal does and some general sounds. That was the Bass Synth from MXR.